It's tape deck day and I have a beauty here. Someone left at my door a little box and in it was a tape deck with a card that says, "A gift for you." It's a TCRX70ES Sony auto reverse cassette deck. And this one is not working. I tried loading the tape loaded the first time, and that was it. I couldn't eject the tape, no transport operation. Let's see if we can get this one going. Got here a Sony TCRX70ES cassette deck that has a bit of a problem. It will not play or eject or open or anything. It is just totally jammed up. It did open and I was able to put a tape into it, but that's the extent of it. It is completely jammed up. Here's a look down the top of this one. 3-motor system, capstan motor, reel motor, and control motor. Not necessarily in that order. I think this is the control motor over here. Anyway, let's see why this thing is jammed. I can see the capstan motor's turning, so that's not the issue. I can see the flywheels are spinning. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but the flywheels are definitely spinning on this one. Why is the mechanism not working? So there's looks like another belt has come off right on this one. Looks like the control belt has come off. Interesting. I can see it right there. There's no belt in that pulley. I think somebody sprayed oil or WD-40. Look at the sheen on the belt. Like, it looks oily from this point of view. I think someone sprayed WD-40 or something into this machine to try and fix it. No wonder it doesn't work. I do believe my flashlight's just gone dead. And it looks like it threw that belt again. Oh, this belt is slipping. This might be the problem. Ah, it just ejected the tape. Yeah, that belt appears to be in pretty sad shape. Let's take this mechanism apart and see whether we can change it. Couple screws there, and there should be a couple more in the bottom, and this should lift out or fall out. Like that. Okay. Nice thing about these units is you could just unplug them and service them out of the cabinet. See, these got these ugly switches as well that can go bad, like on the Panasonic. The detection switches on these also are known to have issues. Oh, belts have come off on this thing. The capstan belts come off on here too, so I guess we're going to probably have to change the capstan belt as well. Wonderful. Look at the sticker, the serial number sticker. It's soaked with oil. Some goof sprayed this thing down with some type of cleaner or lubricant. What an idiot. But I'm sure that we can get this thing working to some degree. Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. Anytime anybody sprays any oil or WD-40 into these mechanisms, it really creates problems going forward, because you can't get it all, and it's going to drip and drop onto belts and cause things to slip. It's a real nightmare, anybody that sprays any type of lubricant into any of these machines. Look, you can see the oil on the belt. And there's a little tear in that belt. There's a belt here, just about ready to go. Just about ready to fall apart. Okay, that's one, and the other one is this one up here. And unplug the motor, get it out of the way. Take the caps and shafts out. Try and do this without taking the whole mechanism all apart. Okay, that's the other belt out. See, that's how you take these apart without actually having to tear the whole mechanism apart. I just loosened it off enough so that I could lift the motor out. Then I could lift this gear out of the way, right? So I could give some clearance so that I could get the belt, slip the belt over the teeth here, as you can see, right? That's all I did. Just loosened it off enough. Yes, you could take the whole thing apart, but why create extra work for yourself when you don't have to? Don't know if I'm going to have these belts. I'll see what I've got, whether I've got anything that's close to this or not. And see what we can do on this one. I'm going to try this belt. It's a little bit smaller for the control belt. Again, we'll just lift this up enough so that I can maybe I'll hook it around the motor first. Just get my hook set here. Thing's got oil all over it. Okay, that one's into the motor. I got it into the motor slot there, into the groove. Now I should be able to hopefully drag it around and over top of this other gear here. That hopefully, you know, it's, I think that somebody's put oil into this thing at some point. I'll have to get in there with a Q-tip and some alcohol and see if I can dry that up, but that belt seems to have oil on it, like there's oil in the groove. That would certainly explain why it's not working. Oil and drive belts don't go together. I like these new screwdrivers, except for these stupid rubber grips slip like you wouldn't believe. You can squeeze them and get some good grip out of them, but still, I'm not a fan of. So far, these little vessel drivers have worked out okay. Not as good as my one, but with the broken bit that I had to glue, yeah, this works, but this bit is really quite short now. This looks like oil on the belt. Maybe into the pulley, into the groove, or grease or something that's gotten on here, but that certainly would have made that belt slip. So we'll just clean this up in here, clean any excess lubricant off this pulley. This was given to me, this deck, so I don't know the history of it. Now we have this other belt that looks like it's also got oil on it. See if I can find another one to replace this capstan belt. First we'll reinsert the capstan shafts themselves and flywheels. And how these belts go on is they go around one direction and the other, because one flywheel has to turn one direction and the other one has to turn the other. I don't see anything on the flywheel. So I'm just going to use some black tape just to hold the belt in place as I thread it into place and around the motor. That belt's just a little bit too tight, a little bit too loose. I don't have the exact size for this, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get the belt that this requires, or if I'm going to be able to get the belt that this one requires. So I may have to just put this other kind of worn belt back in just for now, just so I can get it off my bench and get it back together. Certainly not going to sound proper, but at least it should work until I can source the correct belt for the unit, and I don't know when that's going to be, right? Because with the current state of everything that's going on in the world right now, getting parts for old cassette decks is probably something that's not going to be on a lot of companies' high priority list as far as shipping out parts. So maybe it's best that I just put the belt that was in there back in. At least this one should work, and at least I'll be able to test it. There, that belt's back in place. It's going to have to be replaced though, because it is got a chunk missing out of it. But at least it should be good enough to verify that the unit is going to operate. And as I say, it is relatively easy to change. So there it is. It's turning. Gotta put the little retainers back on for the capstan shafts in here. Gonna open this up, see if I can get my fingers in there and slide this thing back onto the capstan shafts. Probably not going to sound very good with that bad belt, but it's the best I can do right now. I'll have to try and source the right belt for it. But for now, let's just see whether it actually will play a tape. If it does, we'll call it a day. That opens, that's good. Put the cassette housing back on. This tape's kind of chewed up, by the way, so it's not going to probably sound very good right at the very beginning of it. Oh, maybe no, it's the other side that's chewed up. Actually, it works, considering there's a chunk missing out of that belt. There's a chunk missing out of the belt. It works. Forward direction. Maybe. Fast forward works. Rewind. Forward. Reverse. Well, it's working. I'm quite surprised that it is working as well as it is, considering I think I showed you guys the belt that had the little nick on it, but that's the best I can do for tonight on this one. So I'm just going to set this one aside, and once I can obtain a new belt, I'll throw a new belt into this one, and then I'll have a machine for sale. Loading belt was changed, or the mechanism control belt. Capstan belt not. It seems to be working though. I'll let it play for a while here and see if it continues to play. Other than that, that's all I can do on this one tonight. Okay, that tape is, I believe, chewed up right at the end here. I'm pretty sure there's some, yeah, you see, this tape is kind of munched. So if you wonder why it's sounding like it is, it's because the end of this tape got eaten by a machine. So ignore that. It sounds fine in both forward and reverse when the non-eaten tape, or the non-eaten portion of the tape is played. Forward direction. That belt needs to definitely be changed, but that's for another day. Thanks for watching. I know I'm going to get a bunch of thumbs down on this because I'm not fixing it right tonight, but for all you that are going to give me a thumbs down for that, I'll give you that. I can't change a belt that I don't have, and I don't know when I'm going to have one. It might be months. It might be 6 months before I get the correct belt for this one. Thanks for watching.